everybody, and welcome to a video on Planet Zach YouTube channel. A few days ago, more like 10 days ago actually, like over a week ago, I decided to sit down and play Sonic Speed Simulator on Roblox for the first time in several months. I had two play sessions. The first one was at the tail end of the Save Classic Tales event, and honestly, I did not get much accomplished, mostly because I was a little bit overwhelmed by all the changes, gonna be honest, and there's a lot of stuff that you couldn't do before that you can do now, which is pretty good. Also a little bit overwhelming, so, I had a weird time, and there were collectibles everywhere, like all kinds of different ones, and I'm like, weren't we just running one challenge at a time? What's even going on? And of course, at that point, the Sonic Riders permanent update had released, so we've got these air capsules all over the place, which I actually really enjoyed because a lot of them are strung together so that you can pull off some pretty sick homing attack chains, which, say what you will about the homing attack, I've always loved it. And I find pulling off homing attack chains to be really, really satisfying. So that was pretty nifty. There wasn't really a lot to homing attack in the different worlds last time I played, so doing stuff like this here was super fun. And then they also have added some ramps that you can use to get to higher elevations. You go super high if you spin dash at one of those things. It's like insane. So overall, that was a pretty good time. I was a little uncertain of what to focus on, so I played for like maybe an hour and then went ahead and shut the game off for the day. I tried to play it the very next day, but something was up with Roblox. It wasn't letting me boot up the game, so I didn't get to play. So by the time I ended up playing again, the new event with the camping stuff had started. So that was play session number 2. I initially still focused on getting air capsules on the second play day, but I realized very quickly that that was going to take way too long and I couldn't make it the focus of the video. So I ended up just kind of looking around at some of the newer areas that they had. I pulled on this spinning wheel, the prize wheel, and got something. I'm not even sure I remember what I ended up with. That was interesting. And then I think in this footage, you'll see I was trying to get to Chemical Plant because I had seen the entrance the first time I had played, and I was like, oh, I heard they had a new world, but it looks so similar to the Metal Sonic race entrance that's where I ended up going. So I went into that, and you'll see me go here in a minute. I had played the game for the first few weeks that it was out, and during that time there were several events and the worlds themselves remained relatively unchanged. So I had gotten kind of used to the original layout of Green Hill Zone, but things are a little bit different. There are places that are familiar, but also they've been updated to be something else. Like, you might have found a hole that led to a void, but now it's an entrance to another stage or mini game, and that kind of threw me off. Overall, I think the layout of Green Hill is a lot more complicated now, maybe a little bit more complicated than it needs to be, but I wouldn't say that it's terrible or anything. I just ended up getting lost a few times, so that would explain why I went into one area thinking it was going to be something completely different. So like I said, I was looking for Chemical Plant and ended up stumbling on this here entrance to the race against Metal Sonic, which my first attempt at this was awful, and I'm not going to make y'all watch the whole thing because I just kept falling off the track like nobody's business. I don't know if I was just at a speed that was fast enough to run on the track, but like too slow to really properly flow with it. I don't know what was going on, but I was having a hard time staying on the race course. I did considerably better on my second attempt, and I think I almost beat Metal Sonic. I'm not entirely sure, and I didn't unlock him as a skin or anything, so there must be more to it than just beating him at the race. There were like these orb things on the track that you can collect. I think you were meant to collect them. I don't know what they do exactly or what their purpose is. There's never any real explanation for a lot of this stuff. Like, sometimes there's a dedicated like area where you can see the concept of the new challenge, but with this in particular, nothing popped up. I just walked in and immediately was thrown into a race with Metal Sonic, and I had a pretty rough time, to be honest. The next thing I tried was the Tornado Assault video game. That was a lot of fun. It plays the music that you hear in the Sonic Lost World bonus stage, where you pilot the tornado. It's based on Believe in Myself, which is Tails' theme in Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2. Each game has its own version of the song, and I think this arrangement is based mostly on the second version, but it's pretty cool. I personally prefer the first version just because that's the one I've heard more, and I really like the way it sounds. Like, I would listen to that song forever. But either way, it's a nice, slow-paced, quiet moment. I didn't do very well. I got like a C, which may actually be the lowest rank you can get, given how recently that's kind of the lowest score you can achieve. But I still had a good time with this. I got to run through some rings with the tornado. I got to fire at some enemies. It was a pretty chill time. I then proceeded to actually find Chemical Plant, and I explored it a little bit. It's a lot larger than a lot of the other worlds. It's at least the same size as Hilltop, which, by the way, was closed down during this whole experience, so I don't know what that was about. Maybe they're doing some kind of update to it. I thought that was a really cool, interesting world based on one of my favorite stages, so it was pretty cool. I did struggle a bit with some of the pathways in the Chemical Plant, but overall, I think it's an interesting world. I wasn't entirely certain what the objective was in this world. There's some kind of Sonic skin that you can unlock in here. You're supposed to rescue it or whatever, and I didn't know what I was supposed to do, so I basically just had a playground to deal with. If you're wondering why I haven't covered this game in more videos on my channel, it basically boils down to I was unable to for the first few weeks that it was out, and then I noticed that literally every Sonic channel that I followed was putting out videos about it, pretty much, so I felt like it was an oversaturated market, so to speak, so I felt less motivated to make anything because I didn't feel like I could add much. And even what I could add, I tried to kind of piece my thoughts together in that one video I did with it, and it really did not do very well. I basically was just like, this game moves pretty quick, your video becomes pretty irrelevant within a week because it gets updated every week, so I personally do not feel motivated to cover it on a weekly basis, but I do like doing short dives into it just to see what kind of new content they've added, see how the game has changed, and all that good stuff. And if you want my actual opinion on the game, I think it has a good skeleton. I think it's a pretty fun game. It's a super simple mechanic, but it's really rewarding to get leveled up for the first time, and you get to see yourself go from not even being able to clear a loop to being able to win the races and stuff. And that's super cool. And I really think it's a good decision on Sega's part that they're supporting this game in any official capacity, because they are actually affiliated with Sega, I believe, the studio that is making this game. And I think it's good because Sonic Frontiers is coming out, and this kind of is a sampler of what a more open-ended or open world, so to speak, Sonic game could be. I know they call it open zone in all their interviews, but you know, it's not a brand new concept, but this kind of shows us what a Sonic take on that concept could be. I know the worlds that we've seen in the trailers are not nearly as colorful as some of the older stages these different worlds in this game are based on, but I think the skeleton is similar, so to speak. So I think it's a really good move on Sega's part. I personally am pretty optimistic about Sonic Frontiers. I don't really generally play open world games, but it looks like it could be a good time. And I've really gotten to where I don't question Sonic's new games and playstyles. I'm just like, it's Sonic, I'll probably have a good time, you know? And I'm normally right about that. So I would recommend this game to anybody who plays Roblox and likes Sonic. It's a really good time, and I'm sure younger people probably enjoy it a lot because Sonic's finally getting kind of hip with the kids again. I know he kind of comes in waves a lot of the time, but thanks to the movie series, we've got people who at least know of him and all of that good stuff. So if you think this game looks interesting or cool, I would recommend giving it a play. But I think that's gonna do it for this whole video. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.